Alright, once upon a time, there was a squirrel named Squirrely. One day, Squirrely was very hungry for some nuts, but not any nuts, he wanted almonds. The very thought of having those nutty treats made his tail wag like crazy and his teeth chatter with glee. So, he decided to run off from his tree and go to Walnut, basically Walmart for buying nuts and nothing else. Once he arrives, he scurried throughout all aisles to try and find almonds to eat. He searched high, he searched low, he searched near, and he searched far, but he had no luck. And once he made it to the checkout, he asked the cashier where on earth the nuts are. Then he said it was walnut, so they only had different types of walnuts here and not almonds. It angered Squirrely so much that he screeched the cashier to be knocked off and ran off to find his beloved almonds somewhere else. Part 2. After angrily leaving Walnut for not having the almonds he wanted, he encounters a huge yellow head. This yellow head was in front of a green screen, but there was a camera recording in front of him. If you looked at the camera, the background was rainbow colored and had him in front of the words "Goes to Walmart, buys almond." Squirrely, confused, decided to ask the yellowhead what he was doing exactly. However, since it mentioned almond, he was also curious if this Walmart place he'd never heard of before had any almonds. Alright, goes to Walmart, buys almond, the yellow face said. Squirrely, impatient, repeated his question. To his request, the yellow face responded, goes to Walmart, buys almond. At that moment, Squirrely was just as confused as the beginning. He ditched the yellow-faced man and kept moving on. As he was walking down the street, he saw a pretty fella in a nut costume. Me, the nut of wisdom. I will tell you where to get the most precious thing you wanted, screamed the guy in the nut costume. Squirrely, astonished, took his chance and asked the guy, where can I get any almonds? Alright, part 4. The guy in the nut costume said, go to Walmart to get some almonds. Squirrely, confused, asked him, wait, that's what the guy with the yellow face told me. Why should I go there? The guy in the nut costume answered, because we only sell walnuts here, and I admit it's kind of bad for business if we only sell one product. Surprised, Squirrely said in turn, oh, your manager must be an idiot then. Nodding, the guy in the nut costume tells Squirrely, yeah, can't argue, and says with that, and by the way, Walmart is conveniently right next to us, and that's also another reason why the store is going downhill. Squirrely says, thanks, and I hope you find a better job than this. Squirrely later exits the store to go to Walmart. Alright.
Goes to Walnut, buys walnut.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. That's probably how it happens. Squirrely continued along when a poor old lady asked someone to help her up a flight of 87 stairs. Squirrely continued along as he sought no reason to help some lady that would simply fall back down the stairs. So he continued along. He was soon brought to a halt at the sound of the lady saying, I'll give someone these almonds if they help me." Squirrely turned around and walked up to the woman. "I'll help you with that," Squirrely responded. Soon he was helping the old lady up 87 flights of stairs, and after 2.5 hours, they had reached the top, and the woman pulled out a bag of nuts. These, however, were cashews, not the almonds Squirrely had been looking for. Filled with anger and frustration, Squirrely shoved the old lady down the stairs, causing several fractures and a broken spine. Little did Squirrely know that old lady was the Queen of England. Squirrely decided to continue along his journey, not minding that he had just immobilized an elder. He was actually proud of what he did, because the Queen of England is actually a really big prick who deserved it because she can't keep it country running anymore. And she was 94 years old and really didn't need to live anymore. Then there was a person who was actually hitman trying to go for the Queen of England, but he got the kill instead. The hitman said, "Thank you. Now the police are on you." He pulls out his cell phone and called the police. Squirrely got his almonds and left the Walmart, but he was confronted by cops for his arrest. In a desperate escape, Squirrely went back to the store, realizing his almonds were shot up. Fueled by hatred, Squirrely begins a standoff with police at the Walmart. Squirrely then runs out of ammo and attempts to flee, but has been surrounded on all fronts. Squirrely then jumps into a nearby river and is washed away to safety, while the world thinks he passed away. Squirrely is now in some tree in New York. The end.
Never got his almonds.
Yeah, we never got his almonds. I think in the original ending he might have gotten his almonds, but I don't know. I didn't read it very carefully.
Oh.
I made him shorten the ending because it was like 16 sentences in the original. You're supposed to have it like 4 to 8 sentences, you know?
Ah.
Let's read the story, dude. We begin this tale with 3 trepid heroes in the town of Endlingham. Those who we're speaking of are Deirdre, Lendon, and Jacob, who we refer to as Alpha. Despite not being related by blood, these 3 were raised together from a young age. Together, the 3 of them worked in a bakery while also training to be in the town militia, in case the goblin city of Iclincia ever attacked the town. Iclincia. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I think that was Mason, probably.
It was. Ever attacked the town. But as misfortune would have it, under the light of a full moon, everyone heard the infamous tune known as penis music. The music was forged in the capital of Iclincia by a goblin wizard known as Firmand the Magnificent. Penis music was so deafeningly obnoxious that when blown from the mighty Gjallarhorn, sprouted an earthquake under the target area. Endlingham was one of many victims of this vicious sound. By sunrise, the town was no more, almost as if, in spite of the events that fell on the town that fateful night, the people of Endlingham were more ready than ever to take revenge on the Goblin City. Alright, part 2. The ruler of the town, the Master of Baton, gathered the strongest men the town had to offer. At the front of the lines, our heroes. Alpha was raring to go, always excited for an adventure. London was fueled by rage, knowing what happened to his way of life, and Deirdre was nervously fighting at the front for the sake of his family name. Little did they know what was ahead of them, a journey full of anguish, hardship, and struggles. They embarked on their journey to the town, a dreadful, suspicious feeling that the art as they walked to a location that, although once familiar to them, was now shrouded in mystery and darkness. As they opened the gate, the town they saw before their eyes looked nothing like it was before. All right, I gotta take a breath. I think I'm tired from reading that last story.
Seems like it's gonna be really good.
In this story, most towns were lively, usually polluted by large amounts of people. However, this town was a different story. It was barren, dark, and nobody vacated it. It was clear that this town had been taken by the music. It was a victim to those goblins. Alpha, clearly set off by the seams, attempted to go forth, wanting to look for any goblins that they could strike down. They ruined innocent families' homes. How could he ever forgive them? But Lendon gave off a signal to pause, for they had to locate the whereabouts of the goblin army before taking any bold steps forward. What could possibly happen to our 3 brave heroes? Lendon was right, for they had to locate any whereabouts of goblins before they trekked forwards. However, without a moment to spare, a goblin charged right on top of the front lines. Alpha, with his elusive response time, was able to slice the beast in half before any damage was dealt. This put the outer guards on high alert, and then the ground began to shake. An after effect from when the music sparked an earthquake. The ground between the town militia and the goblin army split in half, causing the goblin army to be raised above the others. Alpha signaled everybody to back away from the other slab of land, and more goblins started pouring in. Deirdre panicked and tried to attack the goblins entering their side, but as they're focused on defending themselves, they see that they are starting to become surrounded. The ground soon opened up, and out popped the ultimate goblin, Firmand. The massive chebs on him glammed in the sunlight. He had bloodshot eyes with a King K. Rool stare. His bright yellow teeth morphed into a creepy smirk. His disproportioned body barely kept him stable, but he struck fear into the three heroes. The army was no longer a threat. This was the main event. As Fermund looked down, the three heroes looked at each other with determined looks. The shining Chebs is now emitting a red light. It's finally happening. The three heroes dashed from each side and slashed at the giant. Daedry, middle, Lendon right, Alpha left. Fermund claps at the heroes, grabbing all in his grasp. As he sings the deadly tone of the penis music, the world shakes around them. The heroes were nearly defeated, but as all good hero stories go, whatever happens can be solved by remembering that you're fighting for what you're fighting for and the power of friendship. Daedry remembers his family he has at home, and with the extra motive breaks free from Fermund's grip. As other two remember what they're fighting for, who they're fighting for as well, the town and the bakery. With the motives loaded, the three friends utilize the power of friendship to synchronize and take out the feared Fermund, who wasn't prepared for this Deus Ex Machina. The three became beloved heroes in Endlingham, and with penis music gone forever, there was no more worries about goblin attacks. The Master of Baton crowned them all as noble knights, giving them the chance to go on numerous expeditions for the sake of the town. The three have done what others thought to be near impossible, and now will get to live lives of luxury for it. All right.